Florida. I hope you're having a great day. I'm going to put a disclaimer real quick. I am actually multitasking right now. I'm trying to get a quick episode in while I'm also cooking. So I have the door cracked just a little bit, and you might be able to hear Jose Hubby out there on his FIFA or whatever he's playing on the Xbox. So just in case you hear some chatter in the background. That's hubby in there going wild over his game. So anyway, I just got hip to Lisa Nichols, and she's a world-renowned speaker, author, businesswoman, and I am so 2000 and late. And it's so funny that I read The Secret many years ago, and I, for some reason, I just don't remember her. I just don't even remember much of The Secret. But either way, because it was so long ago, in a whole different life, in a whole different time. So anyway, I was on Pinterest, which you guys know I love, and I was cleaning up some of my boards because I have some boards that I started when I first got on Pinterest. And if you know anything about Pinterest, it's highly addictive. And when I first got on Pinterest, I was like, oh, that's cute, and that's cute, and pin that, and pin that. And I was a pin crazy girl. So I pinned everything that struck my fancy and everything that my eyes glittered on. I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I'm going to pin this and read it later. So I pinned a million things over the last at least 2 years now. And this was just one of those things that I had pinned and was like, oh, that looks interesting. I'm going to look into it. And so I saw it was a video, and I'm like, okay, let me see what this video is about. And I watched the video. It was like 55 minutes, and it was one of her videos from probably the early 2000s. But anyway, I was blown away by her video. So after hearing her video, listening to the video and watching it, I was like, I gotta hear more from this lady. Like, I want to hear more. I want to hear more. So I went on YouTube and I just typed in her name, and then everything came up, and I was like, oh my God, this lady is a powerhouse, right? So anyway, as I was listening, I was like, oh my God, some things that I've even said here on the show and some ideas that I've had over my life. And I'm like, yes, that's resonating with me. Like, this lady is in my head. And I was just like, wow, God is so awesome that He puts just the right thing that you need at the right time. Because if I had watched that video 2 years ago, I probably would be in a different place. Like, I wouldn't have appreciated for what it was. Like, I wouldn't have been able to receive it as profoundly as I have received it now. And it was just so good. So if you're not hip to Lisa Nichols, please look her up. It's in Lisa, just like it's spelled, Lisa, and then Nichols, Nichols. I believe I did that right. If not, it'll be in the show notes. So you can go to JanaeNicole.com, and I'll have it there in the show notes for you. But either way, I just wanted to share that. And so that's kind of what inspired today's show. And one of her stories was that she talks about her grandmother a lot, because her grandmother really influenced her life tremendously growing up in South Central LA. And just her story in general is really interesting, and what she went through, and that sort of thing. So if you ever get a chance, just look her up and look up her story, and just see the amazing things and that this woman says that comes out of her mouth. But anyway, I digress. So she was telling the story of sitting with her grandmother, and her grandmother telling her, baby, make it a good story. You got to listen to her tell it, because she said, when you get my age and you old and gray and you sit in your rocking chair, you want to look back and be able to tell a story, and you want to make it good, right? I am not doing her any justice, but you got to just see it for yourself. That just really resonated with me about story. Like, what is your story? And are you making it a good story? So when at the end of my life I look back and I'm going to see all of my exploits and everything that I've done and the people whose lives I've influenced and what my legacy is going to be. Basically, we don't have kids as of yet. I went to the doctor just recently and no, we're not pregnant. So yeah, what that really just kind of stoked the fire in me, just thinking about story and how powerful stories are. Because if you really think about it, story is kind of the first thing that we learn as children. Like, oh, you want to hear bedtime story, or when you go to kindergarten they're reading you stories. Even the Bible, it's just a bunch of stories, parables, as you were. So I was like, wow, that is so profound, that how powerful story is and how powerful storytelling. So you can look at it at on two flips of the same coin. On one side you have story, where it's as in storytelling, as in reading a novel or watching a movie. And on the same hand, that's the same thing with marketers. How, advertising, it's just they're trying to sell you a story so that you'll buy their product. That's the best ads are the best stories. It's those stories that lock you in and have you waiting to see what happens. That's the kind of story I want to have. I want to have the kind of story so that when my grandchildren, or those that come after me, when they're telling of me, the person that's listening is going to be like, okay, so what happened next? I want to leave a legacy that somebody wants to know who I was and what I did. I don't know. That just made the hair on my arm stand up when I heard it, because it just resonated with me about what is your story, and also what is the story that you're telling yourself. We have a story that we're telling ourselves of why we're in the situation that we're in, why we're not where we want to be in life, whether it be finances, love, relationships, education. We have a story that we're telling ourselves, and it's in our power to determine the end of that story. So, no matter what the situation and circumstance looks like right now, at the end of it all, it's up to me to determine what that story is, and if I accept what the plot is right now, or if I'm going to change it and make it something different. So, it's just story is it's good. So, my question is to you: what is your story? What story is it that you want to leave? And what is the story that you're telling yourself why you can't make that become a reality? Or what's holding you back from making that story, that ending that you want to see at the end of the day, at the end of it all, that ending that you hope to have? What is the story? What is the plot line that you're going to change or pivot to see that come true? I know I went all over the place with this episode, but I guess it's because it was just so exciting to me. And I'm talking so super fast, sorry. But it was so good. And I had to pull myself away from it, because I'm like, I hadn't really heard of her. I didn't even realize that I had read something that she had written or was a part of until, oh God, after the fact. And I was like, yeah, I read The Secret before, but I don't want my show or what I do to be heavily influenced by what somebody else has to say. I want it to be my original thoughts. And so I had watched that video, and then I think I watched two or three other little shorter videos. I said, okay, I gotta get out of this, because I gotta record a show, and I don't want it to be, me regurgitating her words and that sort of thing. So yeah, I had to pull myself away from it. As juicy and delicious as her content is, and from what I could see of how many videos, I believe one person had around 211 videos of her. Now, granted, those could just be little clips of broken up, but I know they had over 200 videos of things with her in it. So I was like, wow. I know she's been doing this for quite a while because I know I've read The Secret, God, at least 10 years. It had to have been better than 10 years ago. Oh, yeah, definitely. So who knows? I don't know what year she started in. She has been, honey, working. You hear me? So just seeing where she came from and where she is now, it was an encouragement because like she said, she wasn't an overnight success. And, people look at someone like her and some of the, bigger name people that are out there now, but they don't see the struggle that they went to get to that point. What she said, eating the beanie weenies. And I was like, wow, we didn't have some lean days, but I don't think we had no pork and bean lean days since I've been married. I done went down the tangents. Y'all know how I go down my rabbit trails. Yeah. Touching back on one other thing she said before I'm gonna get off the Lisa Nichols coattail because I was just so enamored with what she said and her delivery and everything. She was saying that there was an exercise that she did with one of her coaches, and they basically visualized her at her funeral and what people would say about her, or what things that things that people were going to be saying about her at her funeral. And she said that she felt like she was actually in that moment, and that she couldn't wait to make sure that that wasn't the ending that she had, like that she was going to do everything that she could to make sure that that wasn't what people would say about her. Just be mindful of that while we're building our legacies, to be mindful of how you're doing it and the reason why you're doing it, so that at the end of it all, you don't end up in a place that you never intended to be. And that speaks back to having a roadmap and having a plan of where you're going. And of course, as time goes on, you can pivot and change, but at the end of the day, that main goal, it stays the same, and that we do things decency and order, and we do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. I just want to encourage you to keep crushing it, keep pushing it. We're not where we want to be yet, but we on our way. And, people like Lisa Nichols, I'm a woman of color who is only the second woman of color to have a nationally traded company on Wall Street. So, like, that's crazy. That is crazy. Like, who dreams that big? I don't even think she ever thought that. At a certain point, you get to a certain point, and then it's just like, okay, I can push this dream a little further. We'll cover that in a Dream Chasers episode. We're not gonna go down that rabbit trail. So anyway, I feel like it's something else I was supposed to tell you guys. Oh, I know what it was. So recently, I have a good friend, and they've been having a really hard time at life. And, life can kind of beat you down after a while if, you keep getting knocked down and knocked down before you can even brush yourself off. You get knocked down again. And it can really wear you down if you don't really have a strong support system around you. Even if you do have a strong support system, we only can take so much without having someone or something to kind of lift our heads back up. If you're someone like that and you're being knocked down by life, and you're getting tired and you're getting weary from the fight, and you feel like every time I try to do something, then it's all for nothing. I just want you to be encouraged that it does matter the work you're doing. And I just feel like when someone is going through difficulties, not all the time, but sometimes, it's because of two things. It's because you need to learn something, and or you are being tried because you have something so great inside of you that the enemy I'm going to say it, is trying to crush you so that you don't fulfill your purpose. I genuinely feel that a lot of times when people are just beat down by life for no apparent reason, like they're good people, they're trying to do their best, but it's just like one obstacle after another is coming after you, and you just seem like you can't never get ahead and you just can't never catch a break. I think that those are the ones that have really are the ones that will really change the world. And the enemy knows that and is trying to keep you from your greatness. So just be encouraged. Be encouraged that you're not alone in it, even though it might look like it. There's always somebody that's caring for you and that is praying for you and praying goodness for you in your life. Um, yeah, so that was for somebody. Know that you are loved, and I'm going to get out of here. You can always holler at me, JanaeNicole.com, or at JJanani on Twitter, or at JobOpt on Twitter. All right, girls, I'll holler. Bye.